Welcome back to another class on Evean Hazaer Halacha series. We are continuing in Siman Aleph. Halacha Yud, this will be a new halacha. Just as a note, for this halacha, buckle up your seatbelts because there's going to be a lot of parts to it. Just to give you an understanding, this over here is the Pitchei Teshuvah alone. That's not only here. I'm not talking about the other Mefarshim. I'm not talking about any, I didn't start about other commentaries. Then you have the Pitchei Teshuvah over here. Then you have the Pitchei Teshuvah over here. Look at the bare haters, look how long it is. So Rabotai, it is, you're up for a long piece. Another long Pitchei Teshuvah. Look at this Pitchei Teshuvah over here. Let's see. Yes. But another Pitchei Teshuvah, they're pretty long. Why am I bringing this out? Understanding that real learning Torah is not a yes or no answer. Real learning Torah is delving inside. What the Pitchei Teshuvah does is he brings us cases, real life cases, different scenarios. So I'm just throwing it out there so people should know that if you guys want to listen to this halacha, be my guest. Don't want to listen about that, also be my guest. Just understand there's going to be many parts to this. Not like any other class that we did. It's just because before everything was short. Over here, it's pretty long. Okay. We are beginning in Siman Aleph Halacha Yud. I'm going to give a small introduction. Just tell you outside. What is a cherem? Cherem is when somebody is excommunicated. You can daven with him, meaning you can count him as one of the 10 men. You can't answer his kaddish. You can't do business with him. You can't marry his children. Basically, we excommunicate him from everything. That's a cherem. Rebbenu Gershom came along and he said, anybody's going to marry, anybody's going to go ahead and marry 2 women, he will be excommunicated. If a guy was married to Sarah, now he decided to take Leah also as his wife on top of Sarah, this type of person has to be excommunicated. Now, we have to pay close attention about what's going on. This halacha, who's bringing it down? The Shulchan Aruch. But we know that cherem of Rebbenu Gershom, so that's how we're going to say it. When I say cherem of Rebbenu Gershom, you have to really understand that cherem means to excommunicate, and Rebbenu Gershom, he's the one who instituted this cherem. I'm going to say it in Hebrew only because it makes it much more sound better. That's all. But we have to understand that this halacha is brought down by the Shulchan Aruch himself. And we know we don't follow this halacha. Why? Because the Shulchan Aruch later on is going to say, we don't follow the cherem of Rebbenu Gershom. Even though we don't follow the cherem of Rebbenu Gershom, we have the previous halacha in Halacha Tet, where he said that if the place where you live only marry 1 woman, you're not allowed to marry 2 women. The only thing is, are we going to excommunicate you? No. Alright, but that was in Halacha 9. I'm not going to go into those halachot. Please listen to the previous classes for Siman Aleph Halacha Tet, and then you can understand this maybe better. In any event, we are beginning today a new halacha. Buckle up. Rebbenu Gershom Hichrim. Rebbenu Gershom, he made a cherem. Al hanoseh, and anyone who's going to go ahead and marry Al ishto. If a person is going to go ahead and marry another woman on top of his already existing wife, we are going to excommunicate this kind of person. Aval, however, bi yivama. However, when you are dealing with a yivama, what's a yivama? We spoke about it before. We'll do it again. A yivama is a woman that lost her husband and he died childless, with no children. This woman now falls automatically to the deceased brother. She has to marry him in order to be able to bring back the name of her husband, to relive his name. Comes the Shulchan Aruch and he says that this business of the cherem of Rebbenu Gershom only applies in a regular case. Reuven is married to Sarah. Now he wants to marry Leah. He wants to have more than one wife. He's not, I don't know, whatever. He wants to have more than one wife. The Shulchan Aruch says, if he does so, we're going to excommunicate him. However, the Shulchan Aruch says, when you're dealing with a yivama, when the woman, she herself falls on this guy and he's already married to somebody else, over there we're going to tell you that the cherem of Rebbenu Gershom does not apply. We're not going to excommunicate this kind of person because he didn't go out of his way to marry her. She came to him. So let's put it like this. Reuven is married to Leah. Sarah is married to Shimon, Reuven's brother. Shimon Lolenu dies without children. Sarah becomes a Yivama. She now falls back to Reuven. But Reuven has a wife who's Levi. Reuven has a wife who's Leah. Can Reuven go ahead and do Yibum? Can he marry Sarah? Yes. Rebbenu, the Shulchan Aruch is telling us now, Rebbenu Gershom never made a cherem on a Yivama. Since she is falling on him with every right to do so because they have to relive, they have to revive the brother's name. So therefore, when Sarah falls to Reuven, we're going to tell him, you are allowed to go ahead and do Yibum with her, and the cherem of Rebbenu Gershom does not apply. Continues the Shulchan Aruch, V'chen, and so too be'arusa. And so too when we are dealing with an arusa. What is an arusa? Arusa, Rabotai, is a woman who is married but not fully married. Let's go back to our original case. Reuven is married to Leah, but he's not completely married to her. How could it be Reuven is married to Leah but is not completely married? Very simple. If you guys ever pay attention, when you go to a chuppah, to a wedding, you have two stages that the husband goes through. Number one, he says, Hare ad mikudeshet li b'taba'at zo kedat Moshe v'Yisrael. Right? When he gives her the ring, he says, you are married to me, right? With the laws, the way Moshe Rebbenu in the Torah, that's how you're going to be married to me. He used the language mikudeshet, you are married to me. Meaning mikudeshet literally means you are sanctified on me. What means sanctified? Because when something is kadosh, when something is consecrated, nobody can benefit. If you have an animal, you want to consecrate it to the Beit HaMikdash, you can't do anything with it. You can't use, that's it goes there. Same thing with a woman. Once she marries you, she becomes only holy to you. That means to every other man, she's not allowed to. Not only she can't sleep with them, they can't even look at her chas v'shalom the wrong way. Even a regular girl, but a married woman has much more severity of looking at her than a young girl. What do I mean? If a guy who's single wants to get married, he's not allowed to look at a married woman. What do you look at a married woman for? But we're going to tell him you're allowed to go ahead and try to pick the girl that you're going to like eventually when you want to marry. Right? You're not going to tell him, listen, I close you, be blindfold and go pick a girl. No. We tell the guy, look at her, make sure she's beautiful, she's attractive in your eyes. It's Halacha in the Shulchan Aruch, Evean. So over there, a single guy, we're going to allow him for marriage purposes to make sure that he looks at the girl, make sure she's fine in his eyes. And don't be Avram Avinu, you understand? Like he didn't know who Sarah Rebbenu was. Don't make yourself on that level. Rabotai, it's the Halacha in the Shulchan Aruch. So in any event, why am I telling this? That because when a woman is married to the guy, automatically, Rabotai, she becomes a sur to the whole world. Through everything and anything, nothing. She has a very high, it's very severe when you're dealing with married women. Put it to you like this. In any event, let's get back over here. So when the guy says, when Reuven says to Leah, Hare ad mikudeshet li b'taba'at zo kedat Moshe v'Yisrael, That is the first stage of Kiddushin. Then you have what's called Nisu'in. There's many ways you can do Nisu'in. Some do it with the talit, through Sheva Brachot, through taking her home. There's many ways, but that's why in a regular wedding, we do the ring business, and then we have the chuppah. It's like a covering, right? Some people put the talit, correct? Or some people, they build, what do you call these things? These canopies on top, because you have to have, that's Nisu'in. So, in any given marriage, there's a two-step process. Kiddushin and Nusu'in. The Kiddushin is, let's just for argument's sake, Rabotai, keep it simple. Kiddushin is the ring. Nusu'in would be the canopy under the chuppah when they make the Sheva Brachot. These two steps, Rabotai, back then was done like this. The guy would go ahead and he would do Kiddushin, not an engagement. He would really marry her. She's his wife, to all extent, she's his wife. The only thing is they can't have relations because they still didn't do the second process of Nisuyin. So they would do Kiddushin, then 1 year they would separate, they would not see each other. He would go work to make money for the dress, whatever, jewelry, wedding, whatever it might be. 1 year later they come and now they do the Nisuyin. He would basically close on the deal. That's called, Rabotai, that period is called, to that girl, she's an arusa. It's called erusi, Rabotai. She's an arusa. Now you can understand, she's married, but not fully married. What do I mean? She's married, but not fully married? Very simple. He married her to 90% degree, but not to 100%. She's his wife 90%. She's not his wife 10%. She can't have relations with him because they still didn't do the second stage process of Nisuyin. Sometimes people come up and they ask, Rabbi, can we get married a month in advance? Right? Do the Kiddushin. And then do the Nisuyin later. We'll do the... No, you can't do that, Rabbi. Asur. Sometimes you have people, they want to do what they want to do. They want to do Kiddushin and Nisuyin the night before, or even a month before, and then later they're going to do the real wedding because the guy can't control himself. That's something else. That you can do. The only question is, if she becomes pregnant, what, she's going to walk into the wedding with the stomach? Again, you could do Kiddush and Nisuyin at the same time, but we won't allow you to do Kiddush, let's say, the night before, and Nisuyin the night before. Why? Because the guy's going to say, she's my wife. She's going to say, he's my husband. Why can't we be with each other? And they're going to go and they're going to have relations, which that is not allowed. Yes, she's your wife, but not fully. She's not really your wife 100%. In any event, that is called an arusa. So that's what the Shulchan Aruch says. V'chen ba'arusa. And so too with an arusa. So now, Rabotai, just keep these names, Yivama and arusa. So when I said, you guys already know who we're speaking about. So the Shulchan Aruch tells us over here, and so too by an arusa, that the cherem of Rebbenu Gershom was never active. That means, according to the Shulchan Aruch, the way we're understanding him now, if a person has an arusa, and he wants to go ahead and he wants to marry another woman, listen, he said, Harayat Mikudesh li b'tabat zo, whatever, right? He said, you're married to me. He gave her something, he said, Harayat Mikudesh li, with his pen, whatever it is. She's his wife. 1 year he goes away to make money. He finds a better girl. He finds somebody more beautiful. Somebody that loves him more than that family, whatever, that girl. Now he wants to marry her. Can he go and marry her even though he's married to her? Remember, to her he really wants to marry. To her he wants to do the two-step process. Kiddushin and Nisuyin. But to that first one he only did Kiddushin. Can he go and marry her? The Shulchan Aruch says he can go and marry her. Not a problem. Why could he go and marry her? Because Rebbenu Gershom cherem doesn't apply to an arusa. It applies to a nisua. It applies specifically to a woman that is already your wife. Not to somebody that's 90% your wife. Okay, Rabotai, one more line. There's a lot of parts to this halacha. Just 1 second. Yeah, Rabotai, we have to go slow on this. There's nothing with Rosh and Evan Ezer. Hagas says, Im einu rotze lichnos El Liftor. The Haggah says, one second. The Haggah, very, very big machlok, very big argument in how to understand the Ramah. The way we understand the Ramah now at face, right, on top of the surface, without doing the Mefarshim, the way we're understanding the Ramah right now is like this. The Ramah is telling like this. When are we going to tell you that the Cherem of Rebbenu Gershom does not apply on the Arusa? That specifically, if he does not want to marry her, Ela Lifter, but rather he wants to divorce her. If he wants to divorce her, we're going to say the Cherem of Rebbenu Gershom doesn't apply. But it's implied from here now. But if he doesn't want to divorce her, and he doesn't want to marry her, it's implied from the words of the Ramah that the Cherem of Rebbenu Gershom applies. So one more time, Rabotai. When the Shulchan Aruch says V'chen ba'arusa, and so too by an arusa, the Cherem of Rebbenu Gershom does not apply. Ramah says, when are we going to say those words? He's coming to explain the Shulchan Aruch. Im eino rotzel liknos. If he doesn't want to marry her, fine, he doesn't want to marry her. Good, let him go marry. The Cherem of Rebbenu Gershom doesn't apply because eventually he's going to divorce her. But if you're going to tell me he doesn't want to marry her and he doesn't want to divorce her, according to the Ramah of understanding now, we're going to tell you that the Cherem of Rebbenu Gershom does apply. Rabotai, we're going to stop right over here for now. This will be part one, like I said before. We have to go slow with these halachot, okay? It's just, you'll see there's different cases and so on and so forth. But again, I want to just make something clear. Right now, what we're doing over here, we're seeing real halachot of how the Shulchan Aruch paskins. We'll see later on with the Shulchan Aruch himself is going to say the Sephardim never accepted the Cherem of Rebbenu Gershom. But that doesn't make a difference to us because we have to follow the minhag. The only time we'll allow you to marry another wife, I'm talking about Sephardim, that is specifically when your wife will give you permission, then you're allowed to go ahead and marry another woman, like we saw in the previous Halacha in Siman and Halacha Tet. If she says, I don't mind you marrying another woman, with her permission, you would be able to go ahead and marry another woman, even in a place where the custom is not to marry more than one woman. Rabotai, have a great day. Baruch Adonai Olam. Amen. Ve'amen.